Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing very well. Today we're in the AV-8B Harrier. It's early November and the TPOD has changed significantly with the latest update. We used to have a Generation 1 Lightning 2 TPOD. We've now got a Generation 4 Lightning 2 TPOD. This is an interim video showing what's changed. We won't redo the full TPOD tutorial yet because there are other things that are going to be changed in the near future. So first of all, let's just set everything up how we're going to do this video. On the left, we're going to have our DMT. On the right, we're going to have our TPOD. For controls that we're specifically interested in today, most of which you will know, let's start with the SSSs, the sensor select switches. Aft, short, will cycle between area track, point track, and moving target mode. Right, long, i.e. a push and hold of more than 0.8 seconds, will toggle between FLIR and CCD on the TPOD. Left, short, i.e. before 0.8 seconds, will change the field of view. Left, long, i.e. more than 0.8 seconds, will begin LSS/LST. SSS down, a double push, will give HTS, otherwise known as TPOD HOTAS, which basically gives us TDC control of the TPOD. TDC down will, as usual, create a target. Of course, TDC left, right, up and down as standard. Aft, I should say, rather than down. So first, let's focus on the TPOD. Gone is the manual TDC button, but we still have standby, so that's unstandby. So if we go around in a clockwise fashion, the functions safe and armed are exactly as they were. Note that laser ranging, just the syntax has changed to L-tip. I don't know why, but just for realism apparently. Back to safe. We have an extra option for the type of laser, training as usual. We've got the main high power laser designator. We've got the high power designator plus a marker. And just the marker. And we've also got eyes. This is a low powered targeting designator. It's low powered so that it will not damage the eyes of the troops on the ground apparently. Put it back to training. Next, SWFV, super wide field of view. Press short and first of all it will automatically turn it to FLIR mode if it's in CCD mode. Secondly, it will do a super zoomed out, if you like, field of view covering 20 degrees. Press it again. We're back to our normal field of view and we'll go back to CCD like that. Press long version, so more than 0.8 seconds and release, and we go to nav mode. Note that during nav mode and super wide field of view TDC is disabled. Press to get back. Next, MTC, multiple target queuing, not yet implemented, hence why we're waiting to make the full video. Operational, standby obviously. Next, slave, it's boxed at the moment because it is slaved to another sensor. PIP, non-functional. INR, inertial referencing, same as it always was as far as we can tell. AR, area track, this will allow us to choose between 3 different types of tracks, but we'll come back to that in just a second. Next, field of view, wide and narrow. Data, as far as we understand, it's the same as it was. Zoom has changed. You can press and hold and we can go between 1 and 16. And CCD and FLIR again. Next, let's show how to assign the TDC so that we can control this with our TDC and essentially make it soy. The first way is that with the TPOD open like this, we press SSS down twice, like that. We can now see that we're TPOD here, and if we use our TDC controls, we can move it up, left, down and right. Note that when you do that, we move from slave, because it's no longer slave to another sensor, into the default area track. Another way is if we were a menu doing whatever we were doing, and we press SSS down twice here, then we go straight into the TPOD with TDC control. Note that we're showing no DES at the moment. That means we've got no designated target, and we can change that in a minute. Now, if I wanted to target something, let's just go and try and find an actual target. Actually, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to put it there and I'm going to press TDC down. We've now designated as target and you can see that we now have TPOD designate here. The next thing I want to show is that the TPOD will automatically update the position of the SD, the system designated targets. So if we move back to HUD, as you know, the octagon is the placement of the TPOD and the diamond is the placement of our system designated target. If we move the TPOD about with our slew, we can see that slave to the TPOD is the SD, the target. Next, we want to show that we've had some changes how the tracking mode works. So I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and look at this guy that's moving. Now, if you remember in the old TPOD, the Generation 1, you put it here in area mode, which it is. What would used to happen is there, it would automatically switch into point track and follow this guy in point track. That no longer does it like that, so I'm going to let him go. If I wanted to go into point track, I would press there to point track and wait a trap for him, or as we said before, you could press SSS aft to cycle between area track and point track and moving target, as we'll look at. So I leave the trap, let him hit it, and we missed it. As ever, this is a little bit touch and go. We have to do it a few times. Usually IR works best, but note we've got him with TCD, that's fine. Now what we can do is choose MT, which is the next tracking mode here. MT works the same as point track, except we've got extra features. We don't have them yet. We should have them hopefully next month. So I'm just going to go back to area track. Let's put it over here. Let's pretend we've got a buddy laser lasing in the area. We want to do an LSS/LST as a laser spot search. Two ways of doing that. Either press and hold the INR OSB here for 0.8 seconds or more and release, or SSS left long and we will hit the LSS. We're searching now. I know it looks a bit weird, but that's how it is at the moment. Now, if we want to cancel the LSS/LST, we can press, and I think I forgot to show this earlier, so just in case, AG, target and designate nozzle steering, ping. Next, I want to show that we can separate the SD, the system designated target, from the TPOD location here. We're going to do that actively. We're going to do it using the DMT. I suppose we could do it a different way. Then I want to show that pressing nozzle steering will slew our TPOD here over to the new position of the SD. So currently TPOD is designated, that won't do. So we're going to press SSS down twice. That is going to move our TDC control away from the TPOD. Next, we're going to ensure that the DMT is SOI and not the TPOD, SOI, sensor of interest. We're going to do that with SSS aft once. Although you couldn't really see it, this is now SOI and we have TDC control here. We are now going to move the DMT to there. Yep, find that guy there. We're going to designate with TDC down. And we can see now that TV is designated. TV just means DMT. Next, we've got to make the TPOD SOI again. So we're going to SSS down twice. TPOD is SOI, and just to make sure I can move it about, yes it is. Now, if I press nozzle steering, watch this. It's moved the TPOD to the location of the SD, which happens to be where the DMT is. Note that TV is still the designator here. The DMT is still in charge of the designation. Next, I want to show that if the TPOD is slaved, and we can see that we're slaved here because of what we just did, if we now press nozzle steering, it will undesignate the SD, system designated target, and the TPOD. So let's press that. Ping. Essentially, we've reset. We've got rid of the target, we've got rid of the SD, we've got rid of everything, and we're back to standard. Now, if no SD exists, and we press nozzle steering, then we go to snowplow mode. In fact, I think it's actually gone to it here. Except that is not implemented yet. Again, that should be here next month. So that is the summary of the changes to the TPOD Generation 4 in the AV-8B Harrier for November 2020. Next month we should have a load more. We'll cover that then. I hope that was useful and see you later.